So there are three dimensions of the EU trade policy. First, the multilateral, the bilateral, and the unilateral. So the EU strongly supports multilateralism and views the World Trade Organization as essential for achieving its trade objectives. They believe in a rule-based international order and advocate for the World Trade Organization role in negotiation. So the EU and COVID-19, a key study in multilateralism. The EU's COVID-19 response shows its commitment to multilateralism. Initially criticized for individual actions, the EU shifted to coordination of efforts within member states and global partners, including financial aid, collaborative response teams, and initiatives for vaccine research and equitable distribution.
The bilateral dimension of the EU trade policy focuses on trade agreements between the EU and specific countries or regions. These agreements allow the EU to tailor trade rules to fit the needs of both parties. Economic Partnership Agreements, or APAs, are being negotiated with African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. These agreements focus on both trade liberalization and economic cooperation, and its purpose is to help develop trade relations between the EU and ACP countries. Association agreements. The EU also negotiates association agreements mainly with Latin America and the Andean community. These agreements go beyond trade by promoting deeper coordination. EU's key trade partner prioritize trade partnerships based on first is market potential, size, and growth. Countries with large and growing economies are given preference. Next is level of protection for EU exports, ensuring fair conditions for European businesses. It is main partner regions countries. Main trade partners include Asian countries, important for manufacturing and exports. South Korea, a K-tech and automotive partner. India, a fast-growing economy with huge market potential. Mercosur, or South America. Brazil, Argentina, and others offer agricultural and industrial trade opportunities. Russia, a major supplier of energy and raw materials. Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, oil and gas trade with countries like Saudi Arabia. China, the EU's biggest trade partner, crucial for manufacturing and exports.
The diagram is titled EU Trade Negotiations. The process of authorizations and information exchanged within those negotiations. The text below the diagram discusses transatlantic trade and the EU relationships with various countries in regards to trade agreements. The context provided by the surrounding text in the diagram itself suggests this is a representation of the EU trade negotiation process, particularly concerning transatlantic trade. This process involves informing, authorizing, and consulting with various parties. Agreements must be comprehensive, ambitious, and broad-covering. Trade and market access, lower tariffs and smoother import and export processes. Investment policies, ensuring fair treatment for investors. Intellectual property rights.
The unilateral dimension of EU policy. This aspect of EU policy often comes into play in areas such as trade, environmental regulations, and foreign relations, where the EU may choose to adopt specific measures or standards that apply to its member states regardless of external input. The EU has implemented new trade remedies legislation, including the regulations on anti-dumping, anti-subsidy, and safeguard measures to protect its industries from unfair trade practices. The Council Regulation European Commission number 12 European Commission number 597, established on June 11, 2009. These regulations allow the EU to take actions by imposing countervailing duties on such imports to counteract the effects of subsidies. Council Regulation European Commission number 1061, established on October 9, 2009. This helps streamline the export process, making it easier for businesses to operate across borders within the EU while ensuring compliance with EU laws and regulations. Council Regulation 260, enacted on February 26, 2009. These regulations aim to create a coherent framework for importing goods into the EU, ensuring that the products meet EU standards for safety, health, and environmental protection. Regulation European Commission number 625, adopted on July 7, 2009. This regulation outlines procedures that enable the EU to implement surveillance measures to monitor the imports of these products. This surveillance helps identify any potential risks or irregularities associated with imports from specific non-EU countries. The unilateral EU dimension is important for several reasons. First, the unilateral dimensions allow the EU to set its own trade policies and regulations without needing to negotiate with other countries or entities. Second, the EU often establishes high standards of products, safety, and environmental protection. In times of crisis, such as economic downturns or public health emergencies, the unilateral dimensions allows the EU to implement immediate measures to safeguard its market. Overall, the unilateral EU dimension is significant for maintaining the integrity of the EU market, promoting high standards and ensuring that the EU can navigate the complexities of global trade effectively.